Yeah, so I've never broken 80 before, and it eats me up inside every time. And I've tried going out the night before, I've tried not going out the night before, I've tried everything, but it's a shambles. My putting isn't good, my driving's not good.
I'm
lost.
Sounds like there's a lot of progress there.
Yeah, so I'm going to break 80 soon.
Yeah.
Alright guys, good morning. Welcome back to another Bogey Men YouTube video. It is the day of our golf day. Finally, it has arrived. It is of course with Movember and brought to you by Forefront Sports. We're really excited. Dave and I are already here on site. We've already started to load up the goodie bags. We've got the prize here from Bhíos for longest drive. It'll be a really good day. Hopefully the rain holds off. But look, let's go get set up before everyone arrives. We had so much fun on the golf course today. So I was playing with Simon Delaney, and honestly, I don't think I've laughed as much during an 18 holes ever. Great shot. I'm sorry I ever doubted you.
Easy game.
Easy game.
Yeah.
David was playing with Paddy Andrews, and the guys were having so much fun that they decided not to even keep a scorecard. That's just kind of the sense of how much fun today was. Everyone had so much fun, really enjoyed it.
Paddy, it's always good to get any member of a Dublin football team out of Dublin for anything competitive. And thanks for coming all the way down to Moyvalley. How did you get on today? We were out there, we had a good old laugh.
We were flying until we were back as bollocks from carrying you now for the last 2 or 3 hours. But no, I think we were all in the same boat. The first 3 or 4 holes, we were thinking this is ropey enough. I apologise to anyone who my umbrella hit. It blew away on the 4th, and I think it's over in it's blue. Yeah. I think it's in Westport now. I think it's on the west coast by this stage. So I was going to run after it, but I didn't have the heart for it. So it was a ropey enough start, but it was lovely. Obviously, the course was top class. We some good shots, some not so good shots, and some catastrophic shots. So a standard day out.
In my locker, I have everything that's needed. It's consistency. It's hitting the shot after shot. It's especially in there. I've struggled for a couple of holes with the wind and just grabs the club when you're swinging with the one hand. It's stuff that you've got to really just knuckle down and work at. When the conditions are tough and times are tough, you just got to drive through it and find something that will work for you at that time. So yeah, it's just. I know I have every shot that there is to have. I just need to consistently get them going, but it wouldn't be too much a term, but make more birdies. That's what I need to do, really.
Cormac's just shaking his head.
That's the secret there, birdies.
Yeah, make more birdies.
One group in particular, we had Jay Feely, who's an NFL legend. He's been a kicker in the NFL for 14 years. He's now a sports analyst with CBS Sports all around the NFL. He and his son are doing a trip around Ireland, and they came and joined us for the day. And those guys are absolute legends. We had so much fun with them. So thank you guys for coming out. Cormac, as a man who plays golf at the competitive level, how have the last few weeks been for you?
To be honest, this year has been a bit of a struggle. I've kind of struggled a lot to kind of bring what I have into tournament. Just kind of struggling to free it up and things. And the most frustrating thing has been that I've been playing really nicely in practice, and I feel my game's really good, and I kind of obviously had a little bad run of form, and then I'm probably thinking about it too much, getting ahead of myself, and I've just struggled to free it up. Luckily, I have a good team around me. I have a lot of people who I can talk to, and it's something I've been trying to work through. And I feel like the past few weeks have been a big step in the right direction in trying to work through the hard times. I mean, everyone here probably understands that you're going to go through in anyone's life. I mean, as a Gaelic footballer, as a golfer, you're going to go through those hard times, and I think if you can get out the other end of it, I think it'll be really character building and should stand me in good stead in the future. But as I said, I think the last few weeks have been a big step for me, being able to just talk to people and get people's advice on it, people who've maybe been there before, who've been in the same situation, and just trying to get things back together and back to being the Cormac and not trying to be someone else, I guess.
Talk to us about, so we see a lot of golf. We would have seen Belgium last week on the TV. Not what it's like being a professional golfer, but you get home from that tournament. Like, what is the day-to-day of being a professional player? Like, what does that entail? Who do you work with? Who do you mentioned a few people you talk to. Like, how do you bounce back from, say, a week where you're not happy, but there's plenty of tournaments to come? Because I suppose it's a world alien to us, bar what we see on a 50-inch screen out there. To be honest, we only see the end product.
Yeah. Like,
you had a couple of hours in Carton today, and you were playing with Michael Bannon the other evening. Like, what's the workload like? Is it in terms of the 9 to 5, the normal job?
I don't really see it as that. I'm not someone. I'm quite a relaxed person, which I haven't been recently, and that's probably to my detriment, actually. Yeah, it totally depends on the day, what the weather's doing. Whether if I get up in the morning, it's really bad, I might focus more on my putting or my pitching, or. But I generally just try. Right now, I'm just trying to get on the golf course and play, and I try not to spend too much time on the range. I'm just trying to play golf and get back to playing golf. That's how I learned to play golf. That's how I improved. I don't feel like I'm someone, if I go and put lots of reps in on a range, it doesn't really work for me. I'd rather go on a golf course and hit 5 drivers off the first and hit 3 or 4 approach shots and just play with a bit more context, because I feel like if I don't play with enough context, I can all of a sudden go from feeling like I'm hitting it really good on a range, and I get into some sort of context, and I start to maybe get a little bit anxious, or start to maybe see the trouble, whereas in a range you don't see the trouble. So I feel like for me, most of my practice, 90% of my practice should be on the golf course, in order for me to just have a bit of context and see shots and visualize shots, and I think that's huge for me.
I suppose the further down the road we went, and the more success we had, the more comfortable we were with it. Like, I think the first thing, and you've listened to Cormac, it's getting over that first hurdle nearly gives you confidence in yourself, because when you haven't done it, you can question, you can get in your own way, in a way, and we would have been like that. I feel we would have been favourites going into games, but maybe just before Jim had taken over, where we might have been favourites, but we hadn't actually beaten any of the big teams. We'd won a couple of Leinsters, but we hadn't beaten Kerry, we hadn't won in All-Ireland. So you might tell yourself you're ready and you're really confident, but when you're in the heat of battle, you don't know until you're there, and we hadn't been through that before. So that first step, and I always said it with Dublin, the key to our success was winning in 2011, the first All-Ireland for that team, because that kind of justifies it. It kind of shows, okay, all the sacrifices I've made, we've paid the price, it works. And now there's a weight off your shoulders. You can relax. And listen to it, we were so similar. So many players, like, second guessing yourself, and like that's bad in Gaelic football. I imagine it's really bad in golf, because you have that time, whereas Gaelic football it's more full on. But once we broke the duck and had success, that just kind of freed up everything. And then we could kind of play with confidence and things like that. So with Jim, we were very structured. We were pretty detailed in how we operated and things like that. But we always felt we would win. I think that kind of showed out in the pitch. And that's the more success we had, the more confident we became. And that impacts your opponents as well. That there's doubts in their mind, whereas we knew just total clarity. If we do these things, we'll be all right here. So that success just bred more and more confidence, and that was a massive thing for us. Yeah,
I feel like I'm really close to playing the best golf of my life. It's just a case of being able to express myself on the golf course, and it's something that I said I've struggled to do, but it's not like I haven't done it before. I mean, I had a chance to win the Irish Open in Lahinch in the final round in 2019, which is 3 years ago. I'm obviously more experienced now. Obviously, as Paddy said, like, there's obviously doubts come into your mind and things like this, but I ultimately know that I have the game to be a successful professional golfer. And it's just a case of, as I said, just being able to free it up a bit more and being a bit more relaxed. Just being able to bring what I have into tournament play, which I know I have in the past. And I just think it's a case of just me getting over that little hurdle. And I feel like once I get over that little hurdle, I'll be off. And as I said, I feel like recently, when you're working through these things, it's not easy. But I feel like it's character building as well. I think everyone needs to go through periods of like this in their life, and I think that when you get through this, it'll stand you in good stead when you do get into a Sunday with a chance to win. You go, listen, I've seen the other side. Like, I'm here now. I understand what hard work it takes to get to here. So, hopefully that can hold me in good stead whenever that chance comes around.
So that's a wrap on today. We had so much fun. Thank you to everyone who came along. Thank you to everyone who partook in our live podcast. Thank you to Cian Arthurs, Mark Fox, to Cormac Sharvin, and to Paddy Andrews. You guys were so good with your time. Thank you so much for sharing your stories and having a chat with us. To everyone who took part in the day, we had so much fun. Thank you. Thank you to Moyvalley. Thank you to Movember and Forefront Sports for helping us put on this event. We'll hopefully see you at the next one.